Nice fly.
When it comes to gaming, my affinity for JRPGs have always been kind of minimal. The idea of grinding and constant reading just didn't appease me at all. The only turn-based game that I can actually think of that I played consistently were the Pokemon games, and that's low-key not true because I was playing them with my brother, so it wasn't really just me. Besides that, I've always been more of a combat sports gaming type of guy. You know, give me my Street Fighters, my Tekkens, my 2Ks, my Mortal Kombats, FIFAs. Never been too interested in these JRPGs just because of how impatient I can be with a lot of these games, but that all changed when I played Persona 4 Golden. So how did I find out about Persona? I was actually intending of playing the first Persona game made, Persona Revelations. So Persona 4 Golden wasn't even in my thought process until later on in life. I've always had the intention of playing those games, the Persona series. People always talk highly of it. The music was always nice and it was always trending on TikTok, but you know, I didn't really get around it until I met Afro Senju. Yes, the YouTuber. Little flashback. DreamCon 2023, me and my boy Jay are casually waiting to get some drinks at the DreamCon after party. We just casually ran into Afro Senju in line as well. Much love for him to speaking to us and giving us the time of day, because you know a lot of other people would have just maybe taken the picture and just moved on with their days, but shout out to him for speaking. So we were just chopping it up, talking about games or whatever, and we ended up bringing up Persona in the convo. I told him that I'm getting into the series and I wanted to play the first one and play them in order. Persona 1 Revelations to be exact. And I remember him vividly telling me, bro, don't waste your time. If you're a little bit out the loop, Persona 1 Revelations and actually Persona 1 and 2 just have a negative reputation in the Persona community. A lot of people just don't like those games just because of how good the newer games are. I have never played them, so I can't tell you that for myself, but that's always been the nature of how people perceive Persona games. Persona 3 is Persona 1, Persona 4 is Persona 2, Persona 5 is Persona 3, if you get what I mean. Anyways, he told me I could just play Persona 4 or 5, it should be okay because the stories don't really connect. So I ended up getting Persona 4 Golden on Steam. Best decision ever. I booted the handy dandy Steam Deck I bought that was literally catching dust at the time. Persona 4 Golden was only $11, and that was the basis of how my journey with this series began. Persona 4 is on consensus the Persona game most people start off with just because of how simple yet engaging the story is. You follow a boy named Yu Narukami, which technically you could name anything, but for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna call him Yu Narukami. And it's also like a funny pun because his name is Yu and you control him. Atlas kind of did their thing on that. I'm gonna get on that little thing. So Yu Narukami is a teenager who moves into Inaba from Tokyo when his parents take jobs abroad. He then meets up with his uncle Ryutaro Dojima and his cousin slash sister Nanako Dojima. The cousin slash sister thing makes sense if you play the game. I'll get on that in a bit. As he moves into Inaba, some shady things start happening around town. A sense of uncertainty and fear linger through the young minds of this region. There are constant fogs happening with no scientific explanation. For the most part, his early days of Inaba were simple, nothing really happening that was his business per se. I mean, yeah, there was that one reporter that died and something like that, but that has nothing to do with him. That's all Dojima and Adachi and all of them. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. Dojima works with the Inaba Police Department as a detective, so he's not usually around the house to watch Nanako, which makes her sad and lonely because her mom passed a few years prior to you moving into Inaba. But back to what I was saying, the one reporter that died on that television was shocking news, yes, but nothing that Yu himself could do about it, not until he hears about the Midnight Channel. In Yu Narukami's first day of school, he meets Chie Satonaka, a tomboyish girl who's very feisty but cheerful. She tells Yu and Yukiko, who's Chie's best friend, about the Midnight Channel. The rumor that was spreading around the Midnight Channel was that if you open the Midnight Channel on your TV at midnight, you will see your soulmate. Till a rumor that people Yu and Chie's age would obviously try to investigate, of course. We also meet Yu's best friend, Yosuke Hanamura, who similarly to Yu moved in from the big cities when his dad opened a Junez store in Inaba. Junez in this world is basically like a shop, right? Like a big ass department grocery store. I don't want to go into more depth with the plot just because I feel like you need to experience the storyline for yourself to really get the feel of it if you haven't played the game. But I'm also sure that a lot of you guys played this game already, so you know what the storyline is. For a quick summary, Yu Narukami moves into Inaba, suspicious fog happens, celebrity dies, and the Midnight Channel leads to the gang trying to solve this mystery because there's some serial killer on the loose. Scooby-Doo ass game. Playing Persona 4 Golden was definitely an experience for me. A fantastic one at that. It makes me appreciate games that have a lot of thought, effort, and immersion. Being a dude that once upon a time only played games with balls or guns on it, Persona 4 Golden definitely took me by surprise. One of the many things I enjoy about Persona 4 or the Persona series in general is the visual novel aspect of it. I know that a lot of RPGs or JRPGs are like this as well, but one thing I love about Persona specifically is the fact that they have voice acting. So it makes it really easy for someone like me who hated constant reading in games to enjoy it without constantly pressing the X button. Now, before y'all kill me in the comments, this is just a personal habit of mine that I'm trying to unlearn because I'm lazy. Don't kill me. Please, don't kill me. Don't even get me started on how good the voice acting for this game is. Chef's kiss. You can tell a lot of effort was put into dubbing for this game. Persona 4 was released in 2008, so graphically it won't have the advances of a PS5 game when it comes to showing the models of characters displaying emotion, but the voice acting is so good, you don't even need that. Your imagination does most of the work for you without even trying. And Persona does feel very anime adjacent with the voice actors they bring in, the anime cutscenes, and just the overall nature of how the game operates. So bonus points for that. I love the camaraderie that Persona 4 has. The social links are a great example of this. If you don't know what social links are, they're an in-game mechanic that represent the bonds and friendships and trust that the main character has with the other characters in game. These are usually in forms of casual hangouts like going to the park or going to the movies, grocery shopping, and just in general normal things that the average person does. Social links are a great way to get an understanding of who some of these characters are as people and what sort of traits, hobbies, and things they have and do, as well as any struggles or insecurities they withhold. Almost like you're hanging out with a real person. It's great that Persona 4 rewards you for being social, honestly. It's a very cool gameplay mechanic. This is what Persona is all about. The Persona is a physical manifestation of the Persona user's personality, and in Persona 4 specifically, it really dives deep into the Persona user's insecurities, often with them rejecting them and rejecting that side of them altogether, making the preteen Persona stronger. The togetherness and purity of the investigation team's friendship, even at the story's darkest times, is what I yearn for a game, or just in any friendship in general. When it comes to gameplay for me, I call it a false cozy game. And what I mean by that is there's so many aspects in this game that could counter-relate into cozy games like Animal Crossing, which as crazy as it sounds, just because of how enclosed Inaba as a town is and how close everyone is in that town. You can explore shrines, you can visit historical areas in Inaba, you can talk to basically anyone in that game, and when you're not fighting shadows, there's a lot of fun experiences you can get partake in, almost as if you were in there yourself. We also can't forget that this game is turn-based when it comes to gameplay. In fact, it's a pretty simple one, nothing complex for anyone that's new into turn-based gaming. I've always been the type of person who preferred button mashing combat, and I still do, to be completely honest, but adjusting to turn-based combat wasn't a hectic experience for me, but I had to do it. In Persona 4 specifically, you have your personas who you want to fight with, and you also have your own HP and SP. Physical moves require HP, as well as your health, and special and magical moves require SP. The only thing is recovering SP is borderline impossible in this game without leaving the dungeon for recovery. Yeah, they have little SP boosters like the soul drops or whatever, but those things do absolutely nothing most of the time. What the hell am I supposed to do with 10 SP, Atlas? What am I supposed to do with that? So you really have to strategize in this game. Conserve your SP when going to dungeons, prioritizing using items for battle and doing physical damage. And like Sonic said, you live and learn. Come on, let go of the remote, don't you know you let it on a junk for them. Try to flip the boat, they'll be cooking on the go, but I know use, hey, I've been consumed. The music in this game is one of the greatest pieces of work I've ever heard. There's this joke online that people where it's like Persona fans don't even understand their game, just listen to the music and go to some of the characters. And to be honest, I understand why. The music part. Persona 4 really captivates the feel of ambience and the environment with the music. It captures a sense of motive on how you're supposed to feel and how you're supposed to approach things when certain songs play. I would showcase some songs, but you know. I'll be right, I really don't like. I'll be right. I'll be right, I really don't like. I'll be right. Can you imagine going through a drive-thru and you see a 6'5" black man with a New York City cap, New York Yankees cap, baggy ass hoodie, and a chain around their neck listen to Your Affection from Persona 4? I can't, because that was me. I did that. Okay, so this next part is a spoiler, so if you don't want to hear it, skip it. Just skip to this part right here. I'll give you a couple of seconds. Alright, I warned you. Here goes. So towards the latter stages of Persona 4, your little cousin slash sister Nanako gets kidnapped by the killer. Obviously, this isn't anything new to the main character, but it's different because at this point, this is a personal attack towards you, Narukami. Finding out where they live, kidnapping one of the most vulnerable characters in the whole game, and threatening their loved ones, I'll be mad too. So you need to go to the dungeon and save her. And when it comes to the dungeon, they're usually a representation of the person's deepest insecurities. We've seen them with multiple characters throughout the game. But because Nanako is so pure-hearted, her dungeon looks literally just like heaven. Her deepest insecurities, quote unquote, is accepting that her mom is no longer with her anymore, which is really not an insecurity, and it's really sad for anyone, especially a 6-year-old who doesn't really understand the concept of life and death. So this heavenly look can be a representation of her positive personality and her loneliness without her mom. And with her being a 6-year-old asking where her mom is, I assume most of the people's answers are that she's in heaven. And that's what she imagines where her mom is right now. Anyways, why am I mentioning all this? The song Heaven plays in the background of this dungeon, and you have to listen to the lyrics. I'll play a minor hook right now. So the first 2 lines,
can't get my mind out of those memories. Now time to tell them, don't take my dream.
you don't really pay attention to what they're saying because you're worried about saving her, but it's describing her situation. Her experiencing her loneliness before Yu moves into Inaba and being kidnapped, basically begging it doesn't happen again. That hits so deep. And the last 2 lyrics are,
Still music keeps on tuning me from the worlds that hurt my soul, removing doubt from my mind.
once again, you're not really paying attention. You're not listening. Nanako sings the Junes theme every single time it comes on because it helps her forget the struggles of her mom not being around anymore and her being alone. This is so deep. This is one of the first times I've ever felt a song from a video get hit deep in my soul. I've heard groovy, great music throughout my life when it came to gaming, but very rarely has a video game song just made me feel some type of way like this. Usually when going into these dungeons, I take my time getting all the tools ready and prepping for the boss, but for the sole fact that little baby Nanako, a child that had no business getting thrown into the TV, experiencing the same suffering that all the other characters have and being half their size, coming back home every time you wanted to save your game with no one saying, "Welcome home, big bro." I had a mission. I've never locked in so fast in my life. I wanted to kill Namatame, to never experience the choice of life ever again because of what he did to Nanako. And so I did, which was obviously the wrong choice. Beating that castle was the fastest I've ever beaten the castle. I beat it in 2 Persona days. Shout out to Naoto. She's OP as hell too. Kanji later on saying a little kid telling herself she's not lonely so she doesn't fall apart. The writing for this game is absolutely top tier. Absolute cinema. This is one of the realest things he said in the whole game, and this is a man that's always speaking his mind. Shout out Kanji. The writing for this game is absolutely insane. It's very underrated. And I know people love the writing for this game and the storyline, but I feel like it's very underrated. The complex insecurities of each and every character and how they make them who they are, the social link storylines and how they interact with one another, the plot twists and the guess games you keep on playing, trying to figure out who the killer is. You think you know, they think they know, but no one really knows. It's crazy. Persona 4's focus on self-acceptance makes character development central to its narrative, allowing for well-rounded characters and strong writing. And Persona 4 shows this countless times. And they show it and they don't tell it, if you catch my drift. For example, Rise's issues with Fame aren't just talked about. Her dungeon, her Shadow's behavior, and her breakdown shows us exactly what she's feeling without her saying a singular word. It's so surprising to me seeing a game with this good writing, considering many games the writing has never been too amazing, and it's understandable because you don't really play games for like the storyline, you really play them for the game itself. But for Persona 4, the writing for this game is absolutely insane, and you start questioning yourself. It's like, wow, this is really a game, huh? I just started playing Persona 5 Royal, and as much as I'm really liking the game right now, Persona 4's individualistic approach with the characters themselves can't compare with Persona 5's more plot-driven storyline. And because of that, I'm already seeing less and less camaraderie with the main cast of Persona 5, so I'm definitely gonna miss that whilst playing this game. This game, Persona 4, has changed lives. For me personally, has definitely changed the way I see how people perceive things and how they can cope. I try less and less to be judgmental of people for who they are, because I don't know what they're going through for them to behave a certain way. I've seen this game change lives, bro. It's crazy. Recently, I was reading an article about this guy that was suicidal twice, and he played Persona 4 on the PS Vita, and it's completely changed the way he sees things. And he felt a sense of relief because some of the personal struggles he was going through, the characters were going through as well. Honestly, Persona 4 really is a fantastic game, and it's a game that you can easily recommend to all your friends. However, once I beat the game, I felt like this game can only be recommended to people that I actually have deep conversations with, that really understand these themes, because not a lot of people are going to understand the complexity of some of these characters. I feel like you have to have the patience to actually understand what's going on, and a lot of gamers today don't have that. So I've only recommended this to a handful of my friends, but it is a great experience for a game if anyone is interested. Definitely do take breaks because the game can get kind of dark. Just enjoy as much as you can because it's a story. I remember playing when I first realized that I was close to beating this game. I purposely took breaks because I didn't want the story to end. That's how good the story is, and that's how good the game is. So I definitely recommend y'all to play it. Right now I'm playing Persona 5 Royal and I'm having fun as well. So anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on Persona 4 and obviously this video. How did you like the game when you played it, and how did you like this video? Leave a like if you haven't. Honestly guys, I don't really make videos like this. I really don't make video essay type of content, not as much as I used to. I've been more on my gaming shtick, like live gaming. But if you guys want to see more of this type of content, just let me know. I also plan on playing Persona 1 because everybody hates that game. So hopefully in a few weeks, if you've watched this video, you'll see the recommended video after it. It'll be Persona 1. Who knows? I might even stream it if it does well here, which leads to me dropping my Twitch. Go follow if you haven't. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you guys for being so peaceful and watching this video with me. Go play Persona if you haven't. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts. Love y'all. Bye-bye.